let's start as usual with the economic calendar. Today, as you know, is probably one of the most important days of the year for those of you that look at the markets of the of the month, because we have the non-farm employment change that can move the markets really by quite a lot, and that will be before the opening of Wall Street at 8:30 a.m. US. And in the UK, obviously, it's 1:30 p.m. This is my local time. Other things to notice, I'll say it wasn't a kind of like a heavy week in terms of announcements, as you can see, in the very few red announcements during the week. The one thing, there were a couple of, on Thursdays we have the job, the unemployment data release. And then we also have the job openings on Tuesday, the job opening day, which shows at the moment still a buoyant job market in the US. Okay, so that plays into, again, the narrative of the Goldilocks scenario of a soft landing for the economy. That's from one point of view. The other point of view, there are. We'll see there are quite a few, big players. They are positioning themselves for the proverbial to eat the fan. So, but at the same time, we need to look at what the Fed is doing, and then we're try and understand what may be around the corner. Yesterday we had the jobs announced. So let's go and have a look. This is the main one. They'll look at the continuing jobless claims, so how many people have actually out of work, and it was pretty much stayed unchanged. So it dropped slightly by 1,000. By 1,000 applicants. It was expected to raise, but it didn't. So the initial jobless claim was actually a little bit higher than expected. This is the one that I mainly look at to see the trend of the people that are actually out of work and seeking benefits. Okay, so the main thing today to look for, I said it's where are we? It's the non-farm payroll, okay, in about 5 hours. Okay, so you might see normally on days like this, you see the market is quite subdued until the announcement, and then they take off going in whatever direction they want to go to. But that will be that kind of like the starting block for today. Now let's go and have a look at a few announcements, so a few things that are going on in the crypto world during the week. And obviously the most important one is Lamborghini to launch the first NFT release. And this is just to show you, not because Lamborghini has got any influence on the crypto market, but just showing you how now all the big brands are now trying to get a presence as well, a presence in the crypto world as well, because they see that the interest is going in that direction. This in particular is for a game experience that will be hosted through Motoverse, which is a company that's backed by Animoca brand that is building basically a metaverse for racing games, digital vehicles, and motorsport culture in general. So this is the same way that you may get an NFT of yourself to show yourself in the metaverse. Obviously people want to show off as well. People that like cars want to show off the car-based NFTs. So that's the first. And I'll show you these things to show how although we can have a look at the price of crypto, and we will in a moment. But it's also, while the price is doing nothing, there is still development behind the scenes, and that shows you how, companies are working behind the scenes, and the change in price will only happen when there is a kind of interest that pushes the demand, to the next level. And this demand obviously will also be determined by the offering that's there. So to keep people's interest in that direction. So that is one thing. Let me go into. There is also another kind of interesting development by Meta or Facebook. They keep working on these kind of like metaverse, and now they're showing this Web3 to reality bridge with this demo that they've launched, like Hyperscape. And so the idea of to navigate the physical world with digital information that's integrated seamlessly into what we are seeing. So with the idea then eventually we can have meetings, being able to interact with other people even at a kind of a large distance, but still interact with people as we were actually there. I'll show you what kind of like a sample of this screen recording through this Hyperscape. Okay, so this is I'll stop it there. So this is the sample of what it can look like, being in a kind of like a virtual world, and it sometimes will be difficult as well to understand what is real and what are the digital elements of that world. But in particular, this is the real-time telepresence is probably the way that we would experience it first. In business, as obviously there's a big cost, especially with businesses being all over the world now. Many multinational companies have got offices, in all continents, and being present for a meeting in person, has a considerable cost. So now there are this technology, and there have been some of them have been available for a while, but at a very high cost. Now they're becoming a lot more affordable, where you can have a meeting as if you were in the kind of like having experience the same effects of being there in front of a real person, although you are in completely different parts of the world. So then you take that forward a few years when we're going to have then a seamless experience with hundreds and thousands of people in a kind of like in a manufactured environment, and then you can see how this will mix, will become from at the moment science to actual reality. Okay, moving on to other things. Kind of like developments in. Go away, please. Oh, it doesn't want to go away. Anyway, developments for advisors, individual financial assistants that can now offer crypto products as well, as the traditional products. And we have seen now many main players like Goldman Sachs, exactly, they have allowed the advisors now to include crypto offerings within their advised products. Before these products were available, like the crypto ETFs, but on a non-advisory scenario where now advisors can actually recommend as well crypto products. So that is seen as well, not just as a thing that they can do, but also it's like a growth driver for financial advisors and for wealth managers now, because obviously these products are available kind of like off the counter, so that people can actually buy them themselves. I can often as being interested in crypto can offer kind of returns that is difficult to match with traditional investments. So this is where including these products in their offering can then keep their clients within their advisory roles, as opposed to just going away and doing their own thing. So for us as crypto enthusiasts, really, what this means is that really financial advisors and wealth managers will have at some stage have to recommend these products as well, just to keep their clients. Okay, so these then will bring a new wave of clients or customers to the crypto world that would not or were not wouldn't have invested in crypto and are not like crypto savvy to do it themselves. So they're all like little bricks in the wall. They are placed one at a time, and the growth of Bitcoin and other coins doesn't happen overnight, just like this, because somebody decides that the price has got to double and treble and go up 10 times. But it's a result of all these little actions that they happen in the background. So I'll try to bring these to you. Another one here is Grayscale. Grayscale now launched another trust. Okay, so and this is an Aave trust. For those of you that are not familiar with Aave, this is one of the first DeFi projects on launch on Ethereum. Now it's quite a few years old and was already one of the big projects in the last bull cycle. So some of these like Aave, like MakerDAO, are making now a comeback, because although price might not have done much, and a lot of the degen interest in towards things that can grow like very quickly. This company have been working now for the best part of 6 years plus at developing their offering, and now they are well positioned to then cope with the new wave of interest that will follow with the bull cycle. So now Grayscale, which is one of the big players, obviously in crypto, as we know, with the Bitcoin and the Ethereum ETF as well, they have made this investment in Aave. So this is not Bitcoin, it's not Ethereum, it's actually an Ethereum token, Aave. Have made that investment possible to institutional investors. Okay, through a Grayscale, through an investment vehicle that is regulated and is quoted on the main exchanges. Okay, so again, as you can see now, there are different things on the cards. There's the possibility of kind of like an XRP ETF as well. They are trying to get approval for. So all things, as you can say, the Bitcoin ETF was the first step, and then from then it percolates out first to Ethereum and then to other things, and we're seeing the effect of this here. Obviously, XRP is not out of the water yet, and you might have heard that the SEC has actually appealed their XRP win in the courts. So obviously, price does what price will do. And the token dropped about 8% within 24 hours. But at the same time, there are news as well. Again, XRP, it's not just the court ruling. XRP is a project, whether you like it or not, that are doing a lot of work in the background. and now they are working well with Brazil as well, to Mercado in Brazil, to allow for cross-border to facilitate cross-border payments. So there's a lot that's going on in crypto right now. Whether the price does something, you see the price going up or not, doesn't mean that the background is not it's not working. They're not doing the work in the background. So other interest, this is more like an interest piece than anything else. There is a HBO documentary now that is said to reveal the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, there's been kind of talk for years about whether it's or who is this Satoshi Nakamoto, but the only thing Adam Beck and Craig Wright were saying to be Satoshi Nakamoto themselves, but we don't really know who if there is a person actually called Satoshi Nakamoto, and if he's the founder of Bitcoin, or if there is something else behind it. We don't know. The one thing we know that in the Satoshi Nakamoto address, we have 1.1 million Bitcoin. So that will make that person really one of the richest people in the world. Okay, it just we'll see what comes out of this, and when this documentary is released, and what the allegations are, but we'll look at them later. But it doesn't really change much for us at this stage.
Oh, that's a good start to your Friday.
Sorry, Werner, I didn't. Were you talking to?
Okay, great.
Or were you talking to somebody else?
I think we applied enough pressure yesterday to make them realize now they don't have any options.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Now let's go on and let's look at a few other things. So this was the other article from Ripple and Mercado Bitcoin to initiate cross-border payment service in Brazil. Okay, so Mercado Bitcoin is one of the Latin America's largest crypto exchanges, and this is like a cross-border payment solution in Brazil. So we're seeing things that are starting to now compete with established channels, with Cash, with Swift, with ways of they've been used for decades, if not century, to make transactions, and now there are new things that are being used instead. Another thing, just from this week, is PayPal. PayPal execute the first business transaction using its PYUSD stablecoin. Okay, so again, they made business transaction using this stablecoin, making a payment to an accounting firm, Ernst & Young. So they're trying to demonstrate the ease of using these stablecoins for commercial transactions. So again, yes, these stablecoins are linked to the dollar, but they are a digital coin. So although it's strictly speaking, this is not what we want. We want stable coins in crypto to be independent of fiat coins, fiat currencies, but it's still making it easier and to doing this, to get into the digital world and making these digital transactions, in a way that it will take a little while, like the same way that we didn't start using the internet and email for work and for our life, now, and there isn't one person that can really work and live without using online things to do the research, to get paid, to buy things and so on. But this again took several years to get to this point, to the point where we are now. The same will be for the, system of payments that would be native to the internet. So the digital payments that would replace eventually a little bit of time, they will replace a physical payments. For them, for going from using cash or banks to using completely independent crypto products. So not even stable coins, but just like crypto coins for payments or algorithmic stable coins. It will take several steps, and one of these steps is getting familiar with the use of dollar pegged stable coins. So all these again are little steps in the right direction, but not in themselves. There isn't one of these steps alone that would make everything explode. Okay, other things. So here there's a couple more things. This is the Commodity and Futures Trade Commission, the CFTC, that is now thinking about accepting digital assets as trading collateral. And this is again, this is one of the big news, although probably you wouldn't have realized it, or you would have kind of glossed over it, because it's not something that we are that we use, that we understand if we're not deep into trading. But the fact of being able to use collateral, digital assets as collateral it's fairly big. It's fairly big. So it means that you don't have to have cash actually in your account to be able to settle your trade, but you can do it just by using digital assets. So again, if it isn't guaranteed, this is just like a rumor, it isn't guaranteed they will be accepted, and it's already, so these digital assets are already used for certain players, some of the bigger players, but from them to being able to be used by you and me with your trading account is a huge step. And we will probably hear in 2 or 3 months if this is the case. But if it is, this will be a very big step again in the right direction. A couple more things, and then we go on to questions. Now, this is an interesting article talking about, obviously, the tensions. One of the biggest news, obviously, in the week is the continuing war between, and this is what it's got to be called, whatever, between Israel and Lebanon, Gaza, and now with Iran. So this is causes geopolitical tensions, what it's called, okay? And also behind the scene, just behind the corner, in just a few weeks now, we're going to have the US election. So so all these at the moment, this is what the article is saying, that will favor what is called the debasement trade. So where then will cause a spike in gold and Bitcoin demand as well because of this uncertainty. And there are kind of like more and more indications that Bitcoin is being seen as an alternative to gold. Okay, so if you on one side see the interest, how much the interest in gold has peaked in the past few weeks, especially with these geopolitical tensions, they also at the same time we can see there's a lot more trading in Bitcoin futures contracts compared to the start of 2024. So we'd see now the futures, the Bitcoin futures have risen from about 10,000 contracts at the start of 2024 to more than 40,000 at the beginning of October. So that tells you how much interest there is for these sort of products, whether they are so futures are obviously used for speculation mainly, but obviously an increased interest in futures will bring with it an increased interest in the spot products behind the futures as well. So let me just bring the last one, is discussion about how important Centralization or decentralization is in crypto, and this is you all know probably Edward Snowden, okay, and this is like in his he basically alleged Solana is centralized, and there is now a big discussion going on between is it centralized or is not centralized, or how important that is. Well, the thing is that you cannot be a validator in Solana, unless you have at least 1.2 million in staked assets to even break even. Okay, so it's not something that would be available to small state pool operator, who has 1.2 million just to keep there, just simply to be a validator, even not making any money, just to break even. It just like it doesn't make sense. So why this is a concern? Because we're talking about, obviously we're moving away from the centralized world, of banks and financial institutions to a decentralized world. But if this decentralized world is not decentralized, then there is an issue, because whenever power is in the hands of few actors, then these few actors can either get together and make decisions that are not in the interest of the wider community, or they can be taken over because the power is in one place. So this is, for example, it shows you the stake concentration of Solana. Okay, so although they were saying the validators could move to a different country in case there was like state intervention, I mean, it's still, there is no denying that the majority of tokens in Solana are in the hands of very few people. Okay, and so if that doesn't worry you, it should. If you are an investor, if you hold Solana tokens, then you should be concerned about this, because that means that it's not just market forces that determine the price of these particular assets, but it can very easily be manipulated by a few actors. And there are questions from when Solana was launched as well. There was more like of a marketing product and marketing campaign than a decentralized network itself. So there are discussions about decentralization, but also about the fact that it's more of a more than a blockchain. This is a project that thinks about other things that are more important than one of the building blocks of blockchain. There is decentralization. Okay, so so here's if you read this. So operating a validator on Solana requires expensive hardware and robust internet, now not accessible to the average user. This leads to a small number of validators dominating the network. What is worse, smaller validators depend on grants from the Solana Foundation, making centralization even worse. Okay, so compare that with some of the blockchains. I'm not making any names, but you can probably know one or two that have concentrated instead of decentralization, and maybe the price hasn't moved as much because it just is working organically. Then you can understand what are the things that you really should look at to to determine which tokens you might want to have in your portfolio and which ones you don't. So just the last thing before we go to a few questions. So again, looking at Bitcoin, there isn't much. Again, not much has happened. Again, the price is still in this holding pattern. The one thing that's interesting though since last week is that Bitcoin has made a higher high. Okay, so if we look at, we made a low here, and the price stopped down here. It came back down, so make this low is now higher than the last one. And now this high that was made a few days ago is now higher than this one. So this is kind of like a pattern, that if it's continued, then it will mean that the price might stop somewhere as long as it stops before the 52,000 level. Where is this? So there is a good indication that could bounce from where it is pretty much right now with a low at 57.5 and then establish a new higher high. This is a good ground to then push higher to make a new high. At the moment, we are still in this, technically speaking, we still haven't broken this kind of a downtrend that we've been in since we failed to create a new high here when we touched again the 72,000 in the beginning of June. We are still technically in the downtrend that will not be broken until we're back above this point here. Okay, but it is pleasing that now we have a confirmed bullish pattern that has formed on a daily chart. So we'll see in the next couple of weeks if this will be continued or it will just fizzle out or nothing. At the moment, kind of like nothing new to report. If we have a look at, obviously with the problems in Israel as well, has caused people to get scared. And as you can see, there have been kind of like outflows this week. There was last time inflows in Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday as the news of Iran's attack percolated through the news channels. We can see there have been kind of outflows in Bitcoin. We're still above 18.5 billion, so it's still in kind of very, very high on the we were for quite a while in around 17 billion. So now we are now moved above 18, and the fact that even with the Iranian attack, we haven't had really a massive outflow from Bitcoin ETF is fairly positive. We look at Ethereum, again, similar picture. But they're not big numbers at the moment. So they're 48 million down, 20 million up, 3 million down. So really, there haven't been massive outflows this week. And as we can see, the majority of it again are still from Grayscale. Okay, so this is again the Grayscale Trust, which was in existence before the Ethereum ETFs were approved. So there have been funds that are moving out of this, or people taking profits because they entered the trust a few years ago when Ethereum was maybe below $1,000, and now it's between 2,000 and 3,000. So people may take their profits, or they just move in their funds from here to another one of the other ETFs that got lower fees. So at the moment we're still at a negative total for the Ethereum ETF. So we haven't seen the effect. We're not at the point where, like in Bitcoin, where the ETFs are provided a kind of like a push to the Bitcoin price. We're still actually in drawdown away from Ethereum ETFs. But we can see that the actual speed of this drawdown is diminishing every week. Okay, so this week the total about for 50 is about like 30 million in the red. For a week there's had a lot of noise and uncertainty because of the war. It's actually quite refreshing for us. It means that there are strong pockets again for these ETFs, because when you think about it, we have 3 billion pretty much coming out of the Ethereum ETF, that means that all the other ETFs have actually had an inflows of about 2.5 billion. So it's so there is money coming in, because not a lot of these would have been pocketed. Some would be in these funds, but some of it would have been cashed out in a way. So if we were to take these two out, the Grayscale out completely, that would be 2.6 billion of inflows in all the other funds. Okay, so that's it for today for me and sharing. Let's see if there are any questions. 5 minutes worth. Okay, if we have no question, Jonathan, are you shall we I know that I've been on holiday, and then I've been extremely busy when I go back, but are we okay to do a demonstration next week?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I am possibly away for the week, Friday included, but I'm going to see what Wi-Fi's like over there, and if it's all good, I should be okay. Yeah, otherwise,
Okay.
yeah, I might come back for it, but
That's fine. So let's try maybe to catch up on Wednesday for 10 minutes, and see if you can do it. Then don't worry, we'll push it forward by another week or two. But it'd be good now as things are moving apace. I think it'd be good to, I know that are you going to go to Argentina? Or are you going to be?
no, I am on a reserve slot for going. So if one of the candidates that got voted in from London can't go, then I possibly get to go. But yeah, I'm not on the cards, unfortunately.
So this for those of you that don't know, so at the moment there's going to be like a big meetup in Argentina to work on the Cardano constitution. Okay, so and then that will be the first. It's not going to be like the definite end of the process. It's just the start of the process, isn't it? You want to give us a couple of minutes on that?
Yeah, so we're drafting the constitution for Cardano. So this is pretty much like drafting a constitution for a nation. It's the rules that will govern the codes of conduct of everybody who seeks to hold power or make decisions within the governance structures of Cardano. So Charles Hoskinson has paid out of his own pocket for, to the tune of 7 figures, apparently, for 50 or so workshops all around the world, to get people's opinions who are ADA holders on how or what should be included in the Constitution and so forth. And so this big convention in Argentina is gathering 2 candidates from each of those workshops, 2 delegates from each of those workshops to come and try and rough out the final edges and put a draft, put their names to a draft that we can then adopt as a blockchain. And this is because the keys have been destroyed that would allow IOG and Emergo and Cardano Foundation, the founding entities of Cardano, to actually make any governance changes in Cardano. So they no longer have the power. It's in the hands of every ADA holder. And so this is our first step into forging the way that we want to be doing things as a ecosystem. Very cool.
And that is compared that to what we were saying before about Solana. Okay, so that's the difference. When now this is the real Cardano, for example, is a real blockchain example that could then be, you could understand how this is happening, how this can be transported into, being the government principle of a traditional entity, whether it be in a nation state or of a financial entity or. So the same process, the same steps that are being followed now can be replicated. And it's exciting, especially when we are thinking about, now going outside of this, outside of our planet to establish bases in other countries, in other places in the solar system and beyond. Do we have to have a parliament and senate? Or are there other ways to work the administration, and And this is really exciting, a really exciting time now for me. The reality of what blockchain means is not like for us to, to make money. Is that's to change the world, really.
It is, yeah.
Okay, guys, we got like 1 minute left. Anybody has any questions, burning questions that I want answered? Otherwise, we'll adjourn another week. I'll remind you that in 15 minutes we're going to have the usual, the long-term long-term wealth AAW session. So we'll change Zoom links, and we'll be back in 15 minutes. Okay, though. I don't see any questions coming, so I will see you again next week. Jonathan will see if we can catch up then before Friday and see if we can do a demonstration. Otherwise, we'll so we may or may not have a live demonstration session next week, or otherwise will be as crypto hours as usual, like this one. Okay. Have a great weekend, everyone. And for those of you that are AAW members, we'll see you in 15 minutes. Okay. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.